Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome to an EVE Online discussion video, because in today's video I want to talk about one of the latest dev blogs that has been dropped. It's one that's actually very popular, which is decently unusual these days when it comes to changes to EVE Online, and it deals with balance changes coming to the game in the March release. So it's no longer on the community website, you have to go to the articles site now, and then down here we find dev blogs, and it's about this one here, balance changes coming in the March release. So very nice in my opinion. Lots of feedback that I've seen is quite positive. Also, I already went through the dev blog to prep a little bit for the video. Looks to me like all of this is decently small tinkering with the numbers so that future adjustments can actually still be possible without too much dev time needed for this. So definitely looks quite interesting. The biggest challenges: more change is better even if it's small. The meta is feeling stagnant, particularly around the Feroxes and the Macarial that have basically become the go-to ships for nullsec doctrines. So with that in mind, they are planning to adjust those two big boys and the Ortrus, and then also they're actually changing some other stuff around, like a buff for Tech 1 battleships. Very nice. And this could actually be pretty big, allowing battle cruisers to fit micro jump drives. So tornadoes, for instance, will be able to use the micro jump drive, giving them more mobility, probably a good defense against bombers and things like that as well. Could be quite interesting. Definitely feels like an interesting shakeup of the meta that the player base so far seems to be all behind. So here are some of the details for Tech 1 battleships: plus 25% cargo capacity, plus 20% to maximum lock range, basically giving them better synergy with the micro jump drives. That's the aim there. The attack battle cruisers, such as that awesome looking tornado, will be able to fit a medium micro jump drive, giving them some really interesting capabilities, of course. A nerf to the Ortrus. I'm not sure how people are going to like that, especially when you're not using it only as a PvP ship. I heard that the Ortrus is actually a very good exploration ship potentially as well, but the Ortrus has been a small and medium scale powerhouse since its release, and it's time to bring it down a notch with more pressure on the tank through reduced fitting room, slightly less speed, and a bigger SIG. We hope it will feel less oppressive. So definitely great change for PvP. For PvE, I still feel like it's potentially a really strong ship. Minus 100 power grid, minus 15 maximum velocity, and plus 15 signature radius. We might just have to trade in a little bit of extra tank if we are on the edge when it comes to the PvE content. So looks definitely okay. The Ferox gets a similar treatment: minus 100 power grid, minus 15 CPU, so that a trade-off has to be made between tank and damage. It's basically the nerfs that they were talking about for the ships that are definitely dominating the meta at the moment. Here is the Macarial nerf then. They looked at a lot of approaches, but basically they're switching a low slot to a mid slot. Caliente battleship bonus per level 7.5% to large projectile falloff was 10%. That's mostly range stuff, so that should be okay. Plus 30 signature radius, plus 1 mid slot, and minus 1 low slot, so that you can definitely go for damage, but that tank potential goes down a little bit, is basically the aim here. The Drake Navy issue: Caldari battlecruiser bonus per level 10% to heavy missiles and heavy assault missile damage, was 4% to shield resistance, making this a very interesting missile platform. Once again, does get minus 1 launcher, so that it doesn't go completely crazy with the damage there, but definitely a very nice offensive boost for the Drake Navy issue. The Cyclone, a simple buff here to nudge an already decent ship. Mimitar battlecruiser bonus 7.5% to heavy missile launchers, and heavy assault rate of fire was 5%, so just a straight above. This one I like actually here next, the Eagle. The Eagle has had a place before in the fleet meta. I may find one again between the assault damage control and the Ferox nerf, but we still feel some added utility is a good idea. Plus 12 maximum velocity, but plus 25 drone bandwidth and 25 drone bay. For me, this sounds very interesting as potentially another ship that could be interesting for exploration with the higher drone capability here on the Eagle. Very, very interesting. The next one has got a bit of a story behind it. The Munin I actually received a very interesting Munin fit as well for exploration. I wanted to check it out. And the Munin that like jumped up to like 350 million or something like that in Jita on this buff right here. So the Minotaur Cruiser bonus per level is going to be 7.5% to medium projectile turret damage, was 5%. We gain 150 armor HP, 20 maximum velocity, reduced mass, reduced signature radius, loses a high slot but gains a mid slot, giving it, I think, better damage overall. Or the same damage, but much more utility there, and giving that fit that I already had that I wanted to explore, I think even more potential. And it was very interesting to see a Munin as a potential exploration ship. I'd never even considered one of the Minotaur ships, but this makes it just that much better. Definitely something that I'll check out at some point. And then the Monitor, a new type of ship coming to EVE Online specifically for fleet commanders. That's going to be extremely difficult to destroy, but won't have any real capabilities outside of maneuvering, basically. I find this a very interesting concept. It's also been asked and proposed by the player base quite often. No cloak on that. Still, it's gonna be super tanky. I might even consider that myself as a sort of a press camera. At the moment what I'm using is an interceptor with a cloaking device. If I want to go to a fight to capture some footage, maybe a Monitor has a place there. It's gonna be very limited though, because CCP doesn't want this to become the only option. They definitely don't want something like this to become overpowered. They're called flag cruisers. They can only fit afterburners, micro drives and micro jump drives, so all about mobility. In exchange for these limitations, it combines command ship levels of effective hit points, including 90% base armor and shield resistance, with a signature radius of a frigate and built-in resistances against ECM, dampeners, neutralizers and target painters. So this is definitely supposed to be the ship that is going to stop the FC from being one-shotted so that it can't command its fleet anymore, which is a tactic that is often used and can be very demoralizing to newer fleet commanders, for instance. I find this very interesting. Give something like this potentially a cloak. I'm not sure, might make this completely overpowered, or perhaps the ability to warp out as well. Interdiction, I'm not sure if that would break the ship, but something like a press camera would of course also be very cool in my opinion. So that's always something I'm on the lookout for. Some complaining about this one because it won't be able to probe down ships, so you can't, I think, use that in order to create a warp-in or something like that for your fleet. But CCP again said here they want to be very conservative. They want to try and provide something to counter the headshotting tactic a little bit, to give them the option, but they don't want this ship to become overpowered either, so that it can't be abused, and that's the idea. So only afterburners, micro drives or micro jump drives, but in exchange you get 90% resist, lots of HP, tiny signature radius, and resistances against ECM, sensor dampening, neutralizer and target painter, so that you can't get really one-shotted without it normally costing you more to take out the FC than you would just go after regular targets in the fleet. So sounds pretty good to me. Definitely felt like a dev blog that was very well received, and yeah, trying to shake up the meta is definitely something that's been asked for as well, especially when it comes to nullsec there, that is currently being dominated by this bad boy right here. So look for interesting market activity on all of those ships, I think, in the upcoming weeks. Not a good time to want to buy a Munin, which I wanted to do, but other than that, definitely very good news for EVE Online here. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you all next time.